And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm honored and privileged here this Wednesday and every Wednesday to bring you the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni right here during Dolphin Time in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne College Dolphins, now 3.5 years at least into our partnership, unprecedented at LeMoyne College on the Heights. Of course, you are watching and listening up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And this morning, we have two incredible guests that are going to be joining me for a double dose of the Dolphin Dive, and those guests being the ones that had the final points for LeMoyne College over the weekend in back-to-back wins for the Dolphins at home on the Heights at Ted Grant Court. That being Robby Carmody, who will be joining me from LeMoyne men's basketball in just a second, and a little while after that, around 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time, Megan Bodziony will be joining me as well with her overtime bucket that sent both teams here between Robby's free throws and Megan's bucket in overtime to victories for the Dolphins over the weekend as the team continues in NEC play on both sides for men's and women's basketball. So with that being said, it is my honor, my privilege to be picture-in-picture with Robby Carmody. Robby, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Robby, you and I were talking a little bit off the air that you've ventured into the transfer portal not once but twice, so you know what the experience is like. Went to Notre Dame and then Mercer, and now you are over at LeMoyne College. Bring me into kind of your journey and just what happened from Notre Dame to Mercer to where you are today, and how that portal life was, because a lot of people talk about the portal, but few have experienced it when it comes to student athletes.
Yeah, so my story is definitely a little bit different than your average student athlete. I spent 5 years at Notre Dame. Most of my time there was spent injured. I had three season-ending surgeries and then a fourth microscopic surgery in my knee just to clear some stuff up during my first 4 years there.
Yeah.
And then finally got cleared about halfway through my fifth year and was able to put together some practice clips and put myself in the portal once the season ended. Wasn't really sure what was going to come up just because I hadn't really played more than 4 or 5 games in a season since high school. Wasn't really sure anybody would even be interested in me at that point. But thankfully, Coach Gary at Mercer is somebody that I'd built a really good relationship with while he was an assistant coach at Purdue. Just on the recruiting trail, we'd known each other. We talked a lot. And so when he saw my name in the portal, he called me, and Mercer ended up being the first call I got when I put my name in the portal. And that was something that I really appreciated because of everything that I had been through, and knowing that they weren't hesitant about my past injuries really made me feel comfortable going there.
Yeah.
And then just finally being healthy and getting to play through a whole season last year was really special for me. It didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, obviously. Not playing for so long, my body just hurt a lot. And it wasn't even necessarily the knee, but the rest of my body just trying to catch back up to being able to play 30 games in a season after taking so much time off is really difficult for me. But towards the end, everything started to finally click again for me, and Coach Gary got fired, so I put my name back in the portal, and Coach Champ called, and it's been great ever since here at LeMoyne. I couldn't be happier with where I'm at, and the whole situation around LeMoyne and LeMoyne basketball has been amazing, and I've loved every second of being here. So I would say that the transfer portal was a little bit different for me just because I'd gone through the injuries and I wasn't necessarily trying to find a new spot
Yeah.
because it didn't work out. It just it was time for me to move on from that spot and find something new.
Yeah, and you said you had spent 5 seasons at Notre Dame, spent most of it injured, and then went over to Mercer. So, to the people that are watching and listening, the confusion of saying, wait, you're supposed to play 4, you had 5, then it was 6, now it's 7. How did that all work out?
So my freshman year, I got to play in, I think, 9 games, but got hurt right before the red shirt cutoff. So I was able to still get just like a regular red shirt because I didn't play in enough games. And then the next 2 years were COVID, and I had the medical red shirt from my knee. So I didn't spend any of my first 3 years of eligibility at Notre Dame, and was lucky enough to be able to retain those and get to use them here.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. That, I mean, going through all that adversity, but now having time. So now that you've been on the court, now that you've truly gotten to experience college basketball, really for the first time fully in a way, what has it been like to be on the heights with LeMoyne?
It's been really special. I try to describe it to people, and the best way for me to do that is that we're just like it's not a and I'm saying this in a really good way. It's not a college basketball like atmosphere here. We're not worried. People aren't always worried about doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong stuff. Like we're really just a family, and it's something that I haven't really seen at a lot of other places in college, just because dudes are moving around, especially now, like we were talking about with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
People 4 different places in 4 years. It's really hard to build a lasting I can't think of the word right now, but they they have made me feel extremely welcome, and I feel like I've been here for my whole entire career, and I've only been here for about 6 months. But this is a place that for the rest of my life I'm going to be able to call home because of the dudes that have welcomed me into the community and onto the team in the way that they have.
Yeah, you said that this is the first place that feels like home, and that it's not your typical college basketball team, that people are there for each other. You want to, like you said, you're not worried about what you're going to say and this and that you actually can be in this atmosphere. Is it strange to you that this still exists collegiately? Because I'll agree with you, because I've experienced it over 3 years now at LeMoyne, and one of the reasons why I wanted to work with LeMoyne is because of the people. I got asked that question before. Why do you work with LeMoyne? Why do you have this partnership? And I always go back to the people, the way that I'm treated, the way, the student athletes, the stories that I get to tell. And I said, I've never had a student athlete at LeMoyne not like leave me better than they found me, so to speak. So when you're living in a world of collegiate athletics in a me society and you find a we culture team, just what that does. I mean, do you think that LeMoyne truly stands on its own in being a place where, hey, this is a family, this is a good place to grow, it's a place to get an education? I mean, it's not something you hear every day in today's college athletics.
No, it's definitely not the norm anymore, and it's something that's I think is genuinely really special. I'm sure there's other places that are like this, but I haven't seen very many of them.
Yeah.
So getting the opportunity to come here and become a part of that family is something that I really do cherish. The guys on the team are I'm gonna be in contact with these dudes for the rest of my life. Like they're gonna be my friends forever, and that's kind of the whole point of this. At the end of the day, is building lasting relationships and having fun and going out there and competing and doing everything you can to win. But at the end of the day, basketball is going to end for everybody. So building those relationships with people is really important.
I love this conversation, Robby, because you're speaking the truth. You're not sugarcoating anything. We're talking about the bigger picture, and I'm happy that I'm talking to a student athlete in real time that's in college, that's talking to other student athletes here today all over the world that can be watching this and listening to it about, hey, the ball stops for everybody at some point. And it's about the relationships, it's about the education, it's about the connections that you build moving forward. Nate Champion obviously is happy with the talent that he got in you. Is he happy because you used to be a member of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish is the question.
I think I think he definitely likes that a little bit. That definitely gives me a little bit of extra street cred with him.
Okay. So let's go into the game over the weekend. The opportunity to win a game in conference is obviously huge, and to win it at the charity stripe 73-72. Bring me into that because, like I said, and I was talking with you about it off the air, many years ago, before people were using whatever lives matter things and here and back and forth, I had free throws matter. And I was watching games consistently, just seeing teams lose games at the charity stripe, be it an NBA team, be it a college team. You won the game at the charity stripe. I know that you're not going to give all the credit to yourself and say you didn't win the game and your teammates did a lot of things on the way, but paint us a picture of how your teammates helped you get there and then how important free throws truly are down the stretch when this is a game that was won at the charity stripe.
Yeah, we we kind of went through a little bit of a scoring drought towards the end of the game. And we're finally able to AJ Dancer finally hit a three behind one of my screens when I got fouled, and we had a really big 5 point play that put us back up four with like right under 2 minutes to go, I think, maybe a little bit more. And then from there on, they found me in the right spots and got me to the line basically. We ran some really good stuff to get me downhill, and I've shot tens of thousands of free throws in my driveway at my high school gym, and
Yeah.
just kind of picturing myself just me in a hoop and nobody else is there. Just kind of have to calm down and center yourself a little bit. It was kind of funny though. I'd been talking all day about how Mark Andrews had dropped that ball the night before and how I usually don't feel bad for people that mess up in big spots like that, but for whatever reason I felt bad for him, and I was thinking about that when I stepped to the line. I was like, there's no way I talked about this all day and then I'm gonna mess up too. So I kind of knew that they were gonna go in.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting that you bring that up. And I don't, I don't knock the guy either. The guy dropped 4 balls in 19 games this season. But like you said, it's interesting that you thought about that. I talked about this all day, so I can't be the one to do this. The team has won 2 out of their last 3 games. Speaking of LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball, you've won 7 overall. This team has been tested. And we look at the non-conference play. The Syracuse game, which I was at, that was a winnable game with a few seconds to play. And we see, some of these other moments that, and a lot of people don't know this if they didn't watch the game, that first half, especially for a good portion of it in stores against the University of Connecticut, back-to-back national champions, there was a lot of good things you guys had done in that game as well. So when we look at that, we look at the UT Martin victory that you had there on the road at the Island U Invitational, and some of these other pieces that have gone on to it, the win over Manhattan, and then the triple overtime loss by 3 to Army West Point at home. Whether it's a win or a loss, the team's been tested. You went and faced off against Notre Dame. So just what you can say about being battle-tested as a team and how that can help you right now in conference play. And then secondly, the fact that you got to go back to Notre Dame.
Yeah, being able to play those big schools like Syracuse and UConn and Notre Dame, obviously they're gonna have a different type of body than we're gonna see night in and night out on in the NEC. So you're going up against a different type of basketball player in a sense that you're gonna have to figure out different ways to score, different ways to stop them, because physically they're going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. And then just all the things that we've gone through, all the injuries, all the sicknesses, all the things that people have missed, and different guys have had to step up, and that's going to be really important for us down the stretch because you never know when someone's going to twist an ankle or get in foul trouble, and
Yeah.
having those dudes on the bench get in and get meaningful minutes and step up when they need to is really important because at some point everyone's going to need to make an important play for us to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And we've had a couple really tough losses. We've had two overtime losses. We've had some close ones, and just doing our best to make sure that we're not sulking and carrying those losses with us, but we're learning from them and growing. Because as long as we can do that, we're gonna be in a really good spot moving forward. As long as we continue to learn from all the games that we're playing in.
And then just going back to Notre Dame, what that was like for you.
That was really special. I talked about it. I got to go back and see my athletic trainer who kind of was my best friend and my lifeline for a really long time during my injuries. I saw him basically every day for 3 years straight. And getting to go back and share that experience of being cleared and getting to play. This is going to sound really selfish, but getting to play 35 minutes on it Purcell Pavilion was just, after everything that I'd been through, was not something I ever really expected. So it was a really cool experience on that front. And also getting to go back and walk around campus and like show all my new teammates all these places that I was at, and it was really really cool, and it was something that I'm always going to remember for the rest of my life.
It's funny how God brings things full circle, Robby. We're going to jump into rapid fire. I know we got Megan in the queue here, so we're only going to get to do one, but you can ask me any question in the world. And obviously, as folks know, up around the country and the world, there's no preparation for this. I have no idea what Robby's going to say, and he doesn't know my question back. What's your question for me?
Okay, so you said you went and saw four of the different college football playoff games.
Yep.
Do you think Ohio State was the best team?
It's a good question. I would say yes. I would say I think, they got it right this year. Listen, Georgia not having Carson back, that's sad. You never want to see something like that happen. Drew Aller, he got to lean on the defense of Penn State, so I think Penn State defensively was there. I think Drew Aller's hopefully I think he's going to mature this year. There'll be some better things coming from him, but I think, it was more Penn State's defense and their offense. I think it was more Boise State's Ashton Genty than anything else. I think, Arizona State went through Cam Scattaboo, and then, Clemson had moments, but they're not as strong as they've been in recent years. These last few years have been a little bit tougher dealing with the portal. So I would say when you look around all of this, and I mean, Oregon was ripe for a loss. I didn't think Indiana should even have been in the thing. And then, because they beat 11 unranked teams to get in and then got blown out by the ranked team that won the national championship. So I don't think Indiana really had a place in this thing, to be completely honest. And then Tennessee, they weren't as strong as they typically are. Ohio State took care of them. There wasn't anything about Tennessee that necessarily was as good as maybe a few years ago. And then I want to make sure I hit every team here, thinking about who I missed. But yeah, it's going to the games that I went to and just looking around the country and covering the whole thing. I don't think there was a better team than Ohio State. I think they got it right. I think, Texas had some holes. Obviously, Oregon had some holes. And Penn State needed more from maybe their quarterback position than they were getting. So, ultimately, and that's no knock on Drew Aller. I want to let people know I'm fully hoping that he's going to have himself a heck of a year coming up. So, yeah, I think Ohio State was the right team when it comes to, at the end of it all, did the champion win? They definitely did. And they got better as it progressed, which is something that I can respect. Notre Dame had a heck of a run, incredible run. Ohio State, they were dominant, and that domination ended on the field. And so I definitely think the college football playoff went to the right place. My question back to you. Tell me something. I've known Nate Champion for a long time. Tell me your favorite memory with Nate Champion so far.
My favorite Nate Champion moment as of now probably would have to be when we went to Notre Dame and we waited to watch film until the next morning so we could watch the college football playoff game. I was really happy he let us do that.
Okay, I like that. So were you watching Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I can respect that. Are you sad at what happened in the college football? I mean, so Riley Leonard is a friend. So to me, that was really meaningful. And my buddy Deion Goggins is related to Bo Collins, so that was kind of interesting. Love that Will Howard talks about the Lord, Jack Sawyer, so many guys do, and obviously Riley. So to me, it was tough because of Riley and Bo and whatnot. So were you saddened by Monday night?
Yeah, I was definitely a little sad. But overall I was definitely happy just because at the beginning of the year after the NIU loss, I wasn't really even expecting them to make it to the college football playoff. So seeing them make it all the way to the championship was really cool and actually compete because last time I watched them in a national championship game, it was just a blowout.
Yeah, yeah. So it was good to see them out there. Good to see them have fun. Good to see them come back with under 6 minutes to play, for sure. So and I think, and I don't know if they mentioned this, but being around him, I think Riley was like a little under the weather going into the game. So I don't know if he was truly at 100%, but he definitely gave it all he could. And I respect Notre Dame for the play that they had, as well as Ohio State. Speaking of the play, Robby Carmody, make sure you go and watch him and his teammates. LeMoyne has plenty of games coming up. You can go to LeMoyneDolphins.com to find out when they're going to be at home as well as on the road. Robby, I look forward, now that I am finally home, to coming out and seeing you guys after the college football playoff. And I want to congratulate you and your teammates once again. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're healthy. And I pray that God continues to bless your plans.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Take care.
See you. That coming once again from Robby Carmody here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're jumping right in to our double dose of the Dolphin Dive, part 2, with Megan Bodziony, who's going to be joining me from the women's basketball side of things in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Very happy to have Megan coming up here on the broadcast with me, as well as she had the game winner on the women's side. So in the same day, over the weekend, Robby Carmody had the free throws that clinched it. So he did it at the charity stripe. Megan Bodziony did it in overtime at the basket. So very happy to have Megan coming up here in just a second, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We appreciate you being here inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. It is good to be home. It was great to be on the road, and it's great to be home as well. So very honored and privileged to be able to do both here. And now we have Megan in the queue, so we're going to go ahead and bring in Miss Bodziony into this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And as we bring her in, want to congratulate once again the incredible play of the LeMoyne College Dolphins. Miss Megan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. And first and foremost, congratulations on the overtime bucket. And, I mean, I got to watch it from the road. I was just telling Robby I was out at the College Football Playoff National Championship, so I got to see that y'all had won and got to hear the playback, see the playback. So congratulations on the, and not just you, obviously the entire team getting that victory in conference.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so bring me into it. I know. Listen, this season has been a challenge. Nick DiPillo came in later on when Mary had decided to leave. So Nick comes in, schedule's already made. he's got to recruit quick. He's got to look in the portal. He's got to figure out what freshmen are staying that are supposed to be coming in that had committed. He's got to find out what student athletes that are on the team are staying. So he had a lot of stuff kind of going on in the background. And so the team jumped into this season and trying to put it together as you go and trying to learn and grow together. How has this season been beyond wins and losses? Just all the things that kind of had to come together so quickly. How do you feel the season's gone?
Well, I think it's going in a positive direction. Obviously, we had a really hard non-conference, and we didn't really have a time of summer session or any of that extra time to like just work things out before we actually went into the season or anything like that. So I just think like we had a lot of adversity too in the non-conference and with illness and injury and stuff. So I just think the way our team has persisted through that adversity and kind of come on the other side finally has been great to see us kind of come together and just like put the non-conference in the past and be like, these are games we're winning. So it's been great to see that all come together.
Yeah, like you said, you didn't have that summer session. All these things that people don't think about. So what did Coach DePillo and his staff do, in your opinion, to help create a culture of connection, even though you didn't have the time? Because you can't go back and say, you can't go back and get the time. You can't, jump in a DeLorean and go back to the past here and find that time period. So what did he and his staff do to try and bring you all together in a shorter period of time?
I mean, that staff has been great. They've been probably my favorite staff I played for in my 5 years. So I think they're like a very approachable, open staff and just love being with our team. So I think that helps a lot too. Of when your coaches want to be there and be with you as much as they can, you want to be there too. So I mean, Coach Nick has been great. He lives right nearby, obviously, so he always has us over his house, and just even if it's just watching like a big basketball game that night, and we always have games going on the road, and even before that, like pumpkin carving. So they just have been great about planning just little simple things that it's just us spending extra time together, even off the court, just to build those relationships that you wouldn't make simply just playing basketball together. So I think they've been great of getting us to be bought in with each other, even in a short period of time.
And you talk about that closest. You mentioned the different things you do together, the pumpkin carving. He said that I think if I remember correctly, he said the vets did a pretty good job. The freshmen he didn't want to talk about. Is that true?
I was actually with the two freshmen. I was with Eli and Noel, and he said if it was an art competition, we would have won, but we didn't. We didn't
Okay.
win.
Okay.
I did win the gingerbread house one though, so
You won the okay. So bring me into the gingerbread house because Nick has his children. He just had a new one join the family not too long ago here, and he seems to be, as much as he is a coach and as much as he is a leader, he still seems to have that kid spirit, which I think makes the best adults. Pumpkin carving, gingerbread house making. How much fun has that been to do these things with your teammates that really do keep the kid spirit alive?
it's been a lot of fun, and I love doing those types of activities, like personally as well. So I think coming together and just seeing where people's minds go in that type of process has been fun. And then the coaches are the judges, and they're very open and honest about why this one won and this one didn't win. And the gingerbread one, he said it was a clear cut win, so I was happy about that.
So,
But yeah, no, it's really fun just working with people on those things.
so what I gotta ask, what did you do differently with your gingerbread house that stuck out?
Honestly, we kept it well, we were very organized in building it instead of sloppy with the icing and stuff. And then we used some of the other desserts that his wife actually made of chocolate covered pretzels. We put those in front and just made it look very pretty and organized instead of sloppy like some of the other ones.
Fair
Took our
enough.
time.
So you have Maya, you have Casey, you have Katie, and you have Coach Nick. Who is the most lenient, nicest judge, and who's the Simon Cowell? Who's like that really difficult judge?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not in their conversations. I would think that Coach Nick's probably more the Simon Cowell. He's very blunt with that stuff, but I would say most lenient. I don't know. Maybe Katie or Casey.
Okay.
I,
Being around Casey, and I've been around Katie for a long time. If Kate, yeah, Katie, she's got the blunt, and so I probably say Casey would, knowing both of their personalities from when I've been around them, I'd say Casey probably would be the nicest judge between the two. And not that Katie's not nice, but Katie will keep it 100. So
right,
she
yeah.
she will 100% keep that to you. So Megan, bring me into the game here. The team gets a victory here. Now, you guys are looking for your third straight after winning two in a row after really tough non-conference play. We've now seen the team win two games in a row, and like you said, there's been improvement. The team's moving forward in a good direction. Bring me into this game because it didn't end in regulation. It ended in overtime. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement against Chicago State, who's new to the NEC. 77-71 in overtime. Y'all get the pardon me, that was the game, the first game, and then the second one here, Stonehill 69-67. So in all of that adversity that went into this season, two in a row, both of the games here end in thrilling fashion. Bring me into Chicago State first and then into Stonehill.
I think we just had to have like a mindset shift almost of like we're gonna win. We can do this. Like this is a very winnable game. And then you go into like the stats of that game. I think everybody contributed in a positive way in what way you could have. Just doing their job. Like obviously Sierra's a great shooter. She I think made 7 threes. Like that's insane. And Bree had 15 rebounds and Eli 10 assists. Like there's just everybody contributed in a positive way in the way they could. And when that everyone buys into that and buys into the scout, like great things can happen. And we finally, you know, completed the job for the first time. And when you break through that wall, it just feels amazing because I just know how hard our team has persistently worked. And just that reward was great.
Yeah, and so I mean, when you got that victory against Chicago State and were able to come through with that, like you said, you finally broke down that wall. Momentum is something that I believe in. I find it. I walk out of conversations if I talk about momentum and somebody tells me momentum doesn't exist. I don't even live in that world with that person. I just walk away because you know it. Everyone who's ever been around sports knows it. So the momentum of beating Chicago State, how does that momentum push you through Stonehill in a really tight game?
I think knowing we have a win under our belt and we're going against Stonehill at the time, I think was 4-0 in conference play. So I think using that momentum and seeing how we can play as a team together and have such success together definitely propelled us into that game and just almost gave us confidence too in ourselves. And we were really locked into that scout as well. And we had 1 day prep. So it was that scout was like really mentally locked in for everybody. And so once we went to the game, we were very prepared and just having the confidence to know that we can do it, we can win again. It doesn't matter who the team is, what the rankings are right now, but like conference play, every game's going to be a battle and just make it a hard one on that team, no matter who it is.
Yeah, I mean the incredible play, and you mentioned Sierra. So you get a career high 21 points, and at the end of this game against Stonehill, you go inside and get the bucket that is the difference. And then Sierra Lennon, when we look at the overtime game against Chicago State, 71-71, and she hits a big time three, which is what she does, and your team wins that game. To go into Sierra, and like you said, I mean, I got to watch her last year, and you thought to yourself, okay, this team last season, in the first season in D1, first season in the NEC, makes it to the championship game, and Sierra was doing what Sierra does.
Mhm.
What have you seen from her coming onto this team and just her ability and maybe some of the things we don't know about her work ethic, about her training, because we give so much credit to so many people about their ability to make big time shots, but I still don't think we put enough spotlight on Sierra, not to single her out, but to say, I mean, the work that she puts in comes through. So what do you see behind the scenes with Sierra that makes you believe, like, yeah, she's going to hit these threes, she's going to make these shots because this is what she works, this is how she does what she does?
Well, I mean, she's making these shots after missing, I think, almost the first half of the season with an ankle injury, which I think I just am impressed with alone because she had a really bad injury in the preseason. So just knowing all the work she did behind the scenes to get back and to still shoot lights out like she does has always impressed me. And it just knowing like when I pass her the ball or anybody passes her the ball, like she's probably most likely going to hit that shot and it's always going to be at a big moment for us. So I think just her work ethic to get back to that position that she's in after having such an unfortunate injury in the preseason has always impressed me.
And then when it comes to you, I'm going to ask you to talk about yourself, Megan, here for a second. I apologize. In this edition of the Dolphin Dive, inside a wake-up call with Dan Tortora in the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and of course within our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne College Dolphins. Megan, your make that you had, ball comes in bounds, you get it, you back down your defender, and you turn toward that basket. You put the ball up, it goes in, and then they have to throw up a last second, 3 seconds left on the clock. They got to have a heave, and it obviously doesn't fall into the basket. Bring me into your calmness, your belief, your courage, your trust, because you're a basketball player. You're going to make shots. But there's something to be said about you taking that ball in, having somebody on you, dealing with that pressure and being like, I'm not going to get blocked. I'm going to make this shot. I'm going to get after the basket. You went inside and you did some things that people are afraid to do, men's or women's basketball. They want a clean shot. You went for a contested shot. Bring me into your courage and your calmness in that moment.
I think my courage comes from the confidence of my coaches and my team, even just to draw up that play for me to get a drive downhill. And I think that just comes from all the reps I've done outside of it. Me and Coach Maya, actually, we work on that drive from the slot position most days of the week. So I think it was just being in that position, it was like just go back to the basics, go back to what you rep out and make a quick deliberate move and go downhill, get your shoulders downhill and off 2 feet and go in. But I think the confidence comes from my coaches, obviously, but then my team making like plays the whole game before that too. I think just having that momentum. I think even the play before that, Hayden took a huge charge for us to get us the ball back. So just taking that momentum with me to give me the confidence to go ahead and make that shot.
And for you, Megan, how does this team stay together when you go through the losses? Now you got 2 in a row. Before that, the team was fighting for their first victory of the season. How has this team stayed together through it? Because you just said, hey, if it wasn't for Hayden doing this, if it wasn't for what Sierra's done coming off of injury, I mean, you've mentioned obviously your teammates and saying it's not one of us, it's all of us. How do you guys stay together when it is obviously frustrating when you don't get a win?
Well, I think you have to work on the negatives in practice, but also point out the positives that we did do every game. Coach Nick always says we're our worst enemy at times. So if we could just clean up what we're doing on that side, on the side of the court, it would help us a lot. And I think that's what we did in these past 2 wins. But I think our coaches did a great job of always keeping us positive and keeping us together. And then us as a team just having our own conversations as well to stay together and set goals for ourselves and us as a team and how we want to kind of crawl out of that like losing streak and kind of deliver the first win.
And you guys did it. You're looking for your first win on the road in the conference. 2-3 now in the conference. You have the opportunity to get to 500 in conference play in the NEC for the first time this season. What makes you believe that this team can do this on the road as you get set to play CCSU?
I think now that we've seen it, we've done it twice against 2 really good teams in conference. We know what we can do in conference once we lock into scout, we execute offense, and we take care of the ball, we rebound. I think we learned that when we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, really good things can happen. And just by seeing each other and do so well in these past two games, like everybody contributed and we took care of the ball. So I think now that we know what it looks like, it'll help us propel us into those next games, especially against CCSU, who is a really good team too.
That coming from Megan Bodziony here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this edition of the Dolphin Dive. Megan, we're going to play some rapid fire here. You can ask me anything in the world. I can also do the same. So no pressure. There's just people watching and listening all over the planet. So you can ask me any question that you want, and I can do the same. I'm going to let you ask me the first question when you have for me.
What was the national championship football game like?
Insane. It was insane. It's, I would say, I mean, it's like the Super Bowl of college football, but I don't even want to. I want to paint the picture that it's like that because it kind of helps people understand it. But at the same time, it's very much its own thing. It was incredible. I mean, I to be there, to be a credentialed member of the media, number one is an honor and a blessing. To have it for now going in my 22nd year of being a broadcaster and a journalist is a blessing. To be working for myself for almost 13 years now and to be at these events working for myself and not somebody else is an absolute blessing. And it was incredible, Megan. I mean, to me, Riley Leonard, the quarterback of Notre Dame, is a friend. So when I saw him and I got to, we smiled and we, shook hands and I gave him a hug quick and whatnot. That to me was the victory for me. And seeing my buddy's relative, Bo Collins. I love Deion Goggins, got to see Bo, and that was cool to see Bo. Love to talk with Will Howard, which I've gotten to do a couple times in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and now in the National Championship. And really just getting to speak with Marcus Freeman about faith, to speak with Ryan Day. I got to talk to Al Golden, who I knew years ago when he was the head coach at Miami. Just for me, it was the whole experience. It was going to the Fan Central, going to do interviews and walking on. You walk through this whole conference center and you go downstairs and there's this black carpet and the lights are down and there's lights everywhere. And it's like you're going to some VIP party. You can hear all this music. It's insane. And I'm walking across this carpet and then I go behind a black curtain and I'm interviewing the coaches and the student athletes, and the fans are sitting in bleachers watching us do the interviews. And I mean, to me, I think so many people thought I was going to be sitting in the bleachers, and I was one of the few people that was standing there talking to the players. So I could tell you God is great. I could tell you that life is good. When you chase your dreams, you can catch them and you can go beyond them. And what did I think about the game? It was good to be there with 70,000 awesome people that were having fun. The event was safe. It seemed like the fans were there to be fans and not there to be idiots, and that was great to see. The atmosphere was wonderful. Peach Bowl Inc., they do a fantastic job there. Gary Stokin and Matt Garvey and everything that they do. So I know that they were on site. And Mercedes-Benz Stadium is an awesome stadium. Atlanta was great. Tin Lizzy's had the best nachos that I've had in a million years, and that was not too far from the stadium. So I can tell you the experience was once in a lifetime, but I hope that I get to do it twice in a lifetime and then 3 times in a lifetime. But it wasn't even about who won the game. It was just about being there and being on the field and seeing the confetti and then getting to go right by the stage and take the pictures of the players that I usually see photographers take of these guys. I got to take some of those pictures of the guy holding up the newspaper and the team holding up Ohio against the world. So, yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about it, Megan. It was a blessing, is what I'll say.
Sounds surreal almost.
It was. It's still in my chest. How did that happen? So I can honestly say that I live a life that's better than whatever I dream about. So my question back to you, you were at Fordham, you were at Bryant, now you're at LeMoyne. Bring me through your journey and how you would describe the transfer portal through your eyes. because you are a student athlete, and I think sometimes the portal is misunderstood.
Yeah, well, the portal can be overwhelming and stressful, like always, but I always knew that I would find a new place for it no matter when I went in. My my Fordham experience, I wanted to transfer because of COVID. I wanted to go somewhere I could play right away and be kind of close to home because I'm from Rhode Island. And so Bryant was great. And for my undergrad, I loved it there. I graduated and I wanted to find a kind of a new experience in a new place with new people. I wanted to get my MBA in 1 year with a good competitive program.
Yeah.
And when Coach Nick reached out and through our conversations and just knowing his background and the success he's had in his career and kind of what he wanted to do with this team and his mentality, I knew this would be a great fit for me of both with getting an MBA and just playing in this league and being with these people. And I think it's paid off so far. So the transfer portal can be rewarding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What are you getting your MBA in?
Marketing.
Good for you. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media, can always use somebody else, Megan. Don't forget that. So, what is your final question for me?
What motivates you to get into this type of work?
Oh, man. People wanting to help the world. You know, you can't help the world sitting on your butt, and you can't help the world being quiet. So I think, you know, for me, broadcasting, I find every morning that I turn the mic on, there's a responsibility that I have. A responsibility I have to be honest, to do my homework, to know what the heck I'm talking about. If I don't, I better go find it, and I better get to know it. So I think, you know, for me, this show is different. Wake Up Call is different. The name of it is very much a meaning, and I'm not just here to talk about sports and stats. We're here to talk about God. We're to talk about the hard stuff. Talk about the fact that the country is divided and it shouldn't be. Talk about the fact that most of the media seeks to divide people, and people don't pay attention to how divisive the media is and how negative they are and how they really are trying to make you hate your neighbor. And so, I mean, does the media like me? No. Megan, guess why? Because I tell the truth. And I don't side with the majority of the media. There's some great people in the media, but this godless, like countryless, let's all just be at each other's throats. The media loves that because it's a story, and I don't love that because it's not healthy. So why do I love what I do? Because I'm doing God's work. I'm trying to do it the best I can. I can always be better, and I just love the fact that I'm this kid from little old Syracuse that is doing the things that I've gotten to do to show people that they can too. So if I leave this world in any way, I hope I leave it better than I found it. I hope people are happier. I hope they've laughed more. I hope they value themselves, and I hope that they know that they can. That's really why I'm here, is to just help the next person hopefully have an easier road than I did.
That's great. Yeah, I love that motivation.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. My question back to you. So you're getting your MBA in marketing. What attracted you to marketing? And if you could work on any proposal for any company, what company that you use would you want to do marketing for?
Well, what got me into marketing? I did my undergrad in communications with a minor in management.
Okay.
So when I was looking at my MBA, I figured marketing would be good to kind of complete that trifecta of studies. And I do like the marketing aspect of thing, especially seeing it through social media nowadays. So I mean, honestly, if I had to do some type of marketing campaign, I don't know what I would do, but I really like the brand Lululemon or Athleta.
Okay.
So I would probably waver more towards that side of clothing brands. Just, I don't know, those are my favorite brands to wear. So I think it would be easier to get the creativity flowing in that marketing.
Well, I will tell you this, from marketing for a long time, you can't work with something that you're lying about. So it comes a lot more kind of fluid and freely when you believe in the product. And I don't believe in the people that do things when they don't believe in the product. So that makes a lot of sense. And Athletica, Lululemon, if you're listening, NIL is an open thing. So make sure you help out Meg. Make sure you help out Megan here. So with that being said, Megan Bodziony, and by the way, you'd be helping out somebody who had a game winner. So, you could be doing something, Megan, like, in order for me to feel comfortable when I'm taking those practice shots for the game winner, I wear Lululemon. You know what I mean?
Easy.
Hook you up, make it easy. Like, what makes me feel flexible and free while I practice? That's all we need. Look at that. I'm writing it for you. I'm writing it for you, Lululemon. Just make the phone call. So with that being said, Megan Bodziony, isn't it nice to say these things and they don't have to be jokes and we don't have to worry about, getting sued? So, well, not getting sued, but the NCAA getting angry. But Megan Bodziony, very much appreciate having you on the show. Looking forward to seeing you very soon. LeMoyne is going to be at home for many games coming up, so I look forward to seeing you all at Ted Grant Court. And, of course, when you can make it on the road, including the CCSU, they love to see you out there supporting the Finn family this weekend out in Connecticut as well. So with that being said, Megan, congratulations to you and your teammates. Continue to ride that wave of momentum, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Talk with you soon.
Bye.
See you. That coming from Megan Bodziony once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take our first step aside of the show inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You just got our first hour with the LeMoyne College Dolphins, celebrating the Dolphins with a double dose of the Dolphin Dive, following 2 W's back-to-back at home for the Dolphins as they celebrate game winners from Robby Carmody as well as from Megan Bodziony. So with that being said, we will be back right after this for hour number 2 on Wake Up Call as we get into my experience going through the college football playoff in an historic season of the first season of 12 teams in a bracket style in this college football playoff. Coming from 4, getting to 12, I was through round 1, the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the championship game. I'll talk with you about my journey, my experience, and the grace of God right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees. And as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are proud to be here with you inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. I want to thank my Dolphins for being a part of our Dolphin Dive this morning. Double dose of the Dolphin Dive with 2 game winners, and that being Robby Carmody and Megan Bodziony. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say to the entire teams for everything that they did working into it. I know that from covering sports for a long time here, so I want to congratulate Robby for getting the final points and Megan for getting the final points. But I want to congratulate the entire men's basketball team and the entire women's basketball team on the Heights for LeMoyne for all the work that they did to help set up these opportunities to get victories as a team. So God bless and congratulations to both. Very excited for what's coming up with the men's team as well as the women's team in conference play here inside of the NEC. Keep in mind that even though LeMoyne is under the 4-year rule, which hopefully the NCAA will change, but currently under the 4-year rule that they cannot qualify for the NCAA tournament even if they win their conference tournament when it comes to any of their sports, including basketball. Hopefully that will change, but no matter what, they could still go to their conference tournament and play in their conference tournament of any sport. So this men's and women's basketball team can both play in the NEC tournament. I saw the women play in the NEC tournament championship last season. In their first season in the NEC, they played for a title, and that was fantastic. That was out at Sacred Heart, who's now a part of the MAAC, no longer the NEC. But in their last year there, they went up against LeMoyne in that championship game, and that was fantastic. 9.5 hours there and back total, but worth every second of it. And the men almost played for it, and keep in mind the men defeated FDU, which had some members of their staff as well as student athletes from the team the year prior who had defeated Purdue as a 16 seed. FDU was up against number 1 seeded Purdue. So a lot of great stuff that happened in a very short amount of time in just year 1 for LeMoyne men's and women's basketball, and looking forward to what they can do as we continue on this season, hopefully qualify for their NEC tournaments and then go out there and get the job done and have some fun. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, I'm wearing my college football playoff zip up here, and I'm very happy to be here with you. I was down at the college football playoff throughout every single round. I started in Happy Valley at State College, PA in Pennsylvania, and that was with SMU at Penn State. Both teams were playing in their first ever college football playoff game, and Penn State got the victory, which also happened to be the 100th victory for their head coach, James Franklin, and it happened at home because round 1 is played at the highest seed, so the highest seed gets to host at home, so that was nice for the fans of Penn State. They had another whiteout. The whiteout was incredible. It was insane. The environment, there wasn't a quiet. I will say this about their fan base: it was cold. It was extremely cold outside. Extremely cold outside. Probably the coldest game that I went to. And there were some cold moments. It was cold down in Atlanta for the championship game. But the game that was out at Penn State, I think it was 12. Those fans didn't just show up. There was over 104,000 of them that showed up, that cheered, that stayed with it, and they were absolutely electric. They were exciting. They were intense, and they didn't stop the whole game. You know, they really didn't stop the whole game. So, and they had a lot to be excited about. You know, they had a team that commanded that game and got the victory, and you know, so I respect SMU, or I respect Penn State. Penn State's defense really showed me something there. So that was great to watch Penn State's defense and really get to see their defense. I got the opportunity to speak with Drew Aller, which was great. I spoke with their offensive and defensive coordinators, which was also a blessing. So there's a lot of fun that went on there. And I had a ton of fun in round one of the college football playoff in this historic season. There's never been a first round, and this year there is a first round, so it's only been semis and finals, and this year we had a first round, so it was cool to be a part of that. And then from there, I went on to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, I've covered that virtually as well as on site. And if you don't know this, I've said it on the show before, but maybe you haven't heard it. The first event that I did, the very first event that I did when they started to open things up from COVID, that first event that I did was go to the college football playoff, or was to go to, pardon me, that year they were part of the New Year's Six. They had rotated out of the college football playoff when there was 4. So for those of you that don't know, the quote-unquote New Year's Six bowls, the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, as well. So it's the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and who am I missing here? I'm missing one more. I said orange, peach, cotton, sugar, rose, fiesta. There you go. So all of those bowls are in the New Year's Six. And in the original plan of the 4-team college football playoff, 2 bowls were in every year, 4 were New Year's Six bowls, and then and then obviously the next year, the 2 that were in would rotate out to be a New Year's Six bowl, and then 2 from the New Year's Six that weren't in would go in. So that year that I went down in 2021, beginning of 2021, for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, that was the first event I had done on site since COVID had started, and a lot of places were still closed. So Atlanta decided to open. That was exciting. I got to do that. So I went back to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl this year, and I had a great time with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, as I always do, with the entire team. And I want to thank Gary Stokin and Matt Garvey and everybody at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. They're absolutely fantastic. I love the atmosphere. I love Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Got to discover more of Hotlanta, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, I got to see an instant classic with Texas and Arizona State. Arizona State came all the way back, and they had to go to overtime. These teams did double overtime to win that. So to be at an instant classic was really, really cool to see. And then I went on to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and I got to go to a new part of Texas. The game is played in Arlington at AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And for those of you that don't know, Fort Worth, Dallas, Arlington, they're all kind of like in a... It's kind of like going to like Clay, Baldwinsville, Liverpool in the Syracuse area. It's like it's all together, but it's different. But they're kind of like not too far, because you're like, well, the Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington. It's like, yeah, well, that's where the stadium is. But then Dallas isn't that far away, and Fort Worth is right there too. So being there back at the Cotton Bowl, which I've been to the Cotton Bowl before, and I've covered the Cotton Bowl before, I believe virtually for that one too, as well as on site. I was there for Tulane and their instant classic win over Caleb Williams and USC at the time, where head coach Willie Fritz was there. Michael Pratt was the quarterback. A lot of fantastic players. Tajay Spears was their running back, one of their running backs. So awesome game. So I was there at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, got to go back this year and cover that. And that was a great time to be in Arlington. And I got to stay in Las Colinas. So staying in Las Colinas was really, really cool. That was a fun experience. I've never been there before. For those that don't know, there's Irving, Texas, and then they essentially created their own town. So it's like it was Irving, and then Irving's still there, but then they made Las Colinas, and now like that's its own thing that's just growing, and it's new, and it's exciting and fun, and I'm looking forward to what it's going to be. I got to try a ton of restaurants over there. I got to go to their old cinema, the old look cinema, I should say, the Alamo Cinema, playing new movies. That was great. So I got to see Mufasa there and loved Alamo Cinema. And I had a good time. I went to the Thirsty Lion, had a fantastic burger. That barbecue sauce was yum. And I had some really good, unique Hispanic food. And that was from Salvadorian. That was Salvadorian food. It had some Tex-Mex and different things in it, but a Salvadorian accent, I should say, on the food. And that was a really cool place. So that was Gloria's that I got to go to. So yeah, the time in Las Colinas was beautiful, and everything was wonderful. And my shower, I think it's the first time that I was in, maybe not the first time I was in one, but the first time I experienced one. I think like this was probably the best one. It was a walk-in glass shower with the rainfall shower cap. And so that was like that was really cool. That was, I don't think I've ever wanted to take a shower more than going in there. And because it was the way like the water smelled, it was just like this clean, beautiful, and then having that like rain shower, the one that's like right above you, that was really, it made me want to install one in my own house, I'll say that much. So Las Colinas was great. That was a new experience at Texas, because I've been to Texas, I've been to Fort Worth, I've been to Houston, I've been to Arlington, I've been to Dallas. I had never been to Las Colinas, so that was cool to go there and see what they're doing there, which is really fun. So I had an awesome time out in Dallas. That game was exciting, got kind of out of hand. Something inside of me told me that it was going to be 28-14 during the game. During the game, I was like, I think the score is going to be 28-14. But I had picked Texas, and Ohio State obviously won that game. And then we went on from there to the College Football Playoff National Championship, which I just got to experience. And that was one of the most incredible moments of my life. And, I mean, this entire ride has been an incredible moment. Like they say, one game doesn't show a team. Well, one round of the College Football Playoff doesn't adequately describe to you what it was like. Each experience was great. Each experience was unique. Each experience was fun. Going to Penn State, when they say the South is for football, well, then State College must have a Southern zip code, because State College was absolutely a football atmosphere, an incredible atmosphere that I experienced out at State College. And that was second to none that I've experienced up to this point. So Penn State was really, really incredible. That was a ton of fun. And then, and getting to have, and they had barbecue briskets. I don't know if they did that because they knew SMU was coming to town, and SMU is from Dallas. So I didn't know if they did it for them, but whoever they did it for, your boy likes brisket. So that was really cool to be there for that, to see the fans, and just to see, like this stadium. There's like mountains, and the stadium is like right there, and then you like park in grass fields like on this mountain. So that was a really interesting way of going into the game and whatnot. Like I said, it was really cold, so that kind of led into it even more, just how cold it was outside. Couldn't feel my hands, and just really gave you that football feel, that nostalgic feel. So that was really cool. And then going to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and being in Atlanta again, that was interesting because that was a quick trip to Atlanta for me. So I didn't get to really do anything in Atlanta. The second time around at the national championship I did. But it was just great to be back. It was great to see it. I also know that I could do quick costume changes because I got off the plane in relaxed clothes, and then I switched into a suit and was ready for the game. It was also history for me. It's the first time I ever broadcasted live on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the home of the Falcons. So that was cool. And then, like I said, the Cotton Bowl, Las Colinas, I spent a few days there. So I ate cactus for the first. That wasn't where I ate cactus. I'm sorry. I had some unique food there. I had some Hispanic food I had never had before, the textures that I had never had before. So that was really good that I got to do that. Going to the old cinema was a lot of fun, going to the Alamo Cinema, just walking around, seeing a snowman in Dallas. That was cool and unique because when does it snow? But here's an interesting fact. I went to Dallas this year, and it snowed in Dallas, which it doesn't typically do. I went to Atlanta this year, and it snowed in Atlanta, which it doesn't typically do. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I mean, Las Colinas was just a lot of great food and just everything within walking distance. And then going to the College Football Playoff National Championship, the hospitality, by the way, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has great hospitality. And the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic has great hospitality. And I'm not saying that to say that. The party atmosphere is great. The things to do is great. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to the national championship. I can only imagine. And the national championship media hospitality was remarkable. They had, and I think the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic had a couple of these as well. I didn't try them there though. But they have these full body massagers. So you sit in like this pod thing, right? It's not like a traditional chair, and you sit in it, and it engulfs you. And wherever you put your body, like you put your hands in the hand areas, your arms in the arm, put your feet down in the feet thing, you put your neck here, it massages your entire. First, it like brings you back, so it like you're not sitting, so it literally like moves you back like you're laying down, but not fully laid, and then it literally massages your entire body. That was very awesome with all the walking and all the travel that I've done and being on the planes and whatnot. So that was really cool. And they had the pool tables, which I'm also used to doing at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So I shot pool at both. I'll say I shot better pool at the Cotton Bowl than I did at the National Championship, but that's all right. And yeah, I mean, the food was exquisite. It was so, so good. And the television experience was amazing. So at the National Championship in the media hospitality, they had this massive television screen, this massive screen that was kind of like curved, and they could show 4 different things at a time. And then if there was a big game on, the whole screen would be the game. And I sat in a chair in front of the television. What do your parents tell you to do? Don't sit close to the TV. Well, I sat right in the front row. It was like being at a movie theater, but like having it to yourself, because where I was sitting, I couldn't see anybody else. So I'm eating incredible food. I'm watching the screen, being able to drink a ton of water and just being able to relax and have a good time. They had stores inside of there that were selling college football playoff merchandise. The Fan Central and the media area was like going to a private VIP party on the red carpet, but the carpet was black, so that was pretty cool. That was what I was describing to Megan a little bit earlier here on the show. And doing the interviews was a ton of fun. Just being around everything was great. Being in the official press conference before the game, the official press conference after the game, to going to media day with the players and that media day official press conference with the coaches going into the game, to getting pictures of the helmets, to getting a picture of the helmet with the college football playoff, to getting a picture of the trophy that was sitting out there for the media. I mean, it really is everything that, when I'm watching people cover the Super Bowl and whatnot, it's the things that I think of. And that's why I said it's like the Super Bowl of college football, because, the way that the interviews are and what it looks like, and just all of the just rolling out the red carpet in every stretch of the imagination. Like I said, the food was great. The experience was great. The relaxed atmosphere was great. Everything was so wonderful. And it was so meaningful to be there. I mean, I was just happy to be there because I'm a kid that believed in himself and backed himself and fought to get there with the almighty God, and we did it. So, you know, I can't be happier just being there. And then walking around Atlanta, you know, I got to be kind of in like this restaurant row, and Tin Lizzy's was great. People that have watched or listened to the show, you know that it's hard for me to find good nachos. I usually make them at home. And I went to Tin Lizzy's and I got the nachos the night before the game. And then I got the nachos the day after the game, which was yesterday. It was before I got on my plane. I gave myself enough time to go get nachos and still get to the airport with like 2.5 hours. So the nachos were so good at Tin Lizzy's. I would tell anybody to go out to Tin Lizzy's. Y'all need to partner with Wake Up Call, and we need to do a partnership together when I come down and cover the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and so on and so forth, because we're very much a national and international show. We have our local feel, our regional feel, but nationally and internationally, you know, at this point, going coast to coast, broadcasting coast to coast. We broadcasted from, I got to think now, from the Bahamas, from Mexico, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from up and down the East Coast in pretty much every state. From New York to Florida. We've been in Georgia. We broadcasted from Georgia, from Florida, from North Carolina, I'm trying to think if we did it from South Carolina. I might have prepared something. So from North Carolina, from Pennsylvania, obviously New York, from Massachusetts, from Rhode Island. We've done things out in Rhode Island. So yeah, I mean, to do all of that and then to go out and broadcast, do things from Texas and be in the Midwest area, and then go and broadcast from San Diego, California, as well as from Phoenix, Arizona. So, you know, the show's been all over the place. We've reached people all over the world, and I can't be more grateful and thankful. I always felt like I have, you know, worked. I always feel like I belong. And for the college football playoff to say, yeah, you do, that meant a lot to me. And not an ego thing of I belong, just working my butt off and trusting in God and not letting anybody tell me that I'm going to fit in the box that they're trying to put me in. I always feel like I belong. And the college football playoff, when they said, yeah, Dan, you do belong here, that meant a lot to me. And them saying that in the fact that they credentialed me and they trusted me as a member of the media. I mean, to be one of the people that's there in the media, you're talking about people that are trying to get there from all over the world. And I'm wearing a badge with, 300 people? So, you know, the experience was second to none. And like I said, it really didn't matter who won the game. I already respected them both. I really happy I got to talk with Ryan Day and to Will Howard, especially Cody Simon, Jack Sawyer. You know, I love that I got to speak with Bo Collins and be able to connect that and do that in honor of Dion Goggins, who played at Syracuse. Dion's going to be on the show next Friday, by the way, and January 31st, live here on Wake Up Call exclusively. So Bo, you know, getting to meet Bo was great. Mike Denbrock, getting to talk with him of Notre Dame, as well as Chip, you know, talking with the two offensive coordinators, Mike Denbrock of Notre Dame, Chip Kelly of Ohio State, and talking with the two DCs, Al Golden of Notre Dame and Jim Knowles of Ohio State. And then, I don't want to leave anybody out, I spoke with Mitch Jeter, the kicker of Notre Dame D lineman Howard Cross III, spoke with wide receiver and lacrosse player of Notre Dame, Jordan Faison. And, of course, I got to see my boy Riley, which was really meaningful to me and very important. One thing that I wanted to do more than anything was to just see him and hope that he remembered me from all those years ago when we did the first conversation when he was being recruited originally and choosing between Duke and Syracuse. And so just to get to talk with him and get to see him in person and his reaction, which you could see on our video, when I said, you know, Riley, you and I talked, he's like, yay. He's like, hey. And he's like, yes, sir. So, like, that was really cool that, we got to just have a moment where it was just like two friends catching up, which really meant a lot to me. It was like nobody else was there. And I want to thank God for that experience. The experience, not just with Riley, but in general, that when I talk with players and coaches, God really he makes the whole atmosphere feel like once I start talking with them, it's like no one else is there and it's just me and them. And they look at me and I look at them and it's like everything else is gone. It all fades away. And I felt that way when I talked with Ryan Day. I felt that way speaking with Marcus Freeman. So Jordan Faison and Mike Denbrock and so on and so forth. So really just all those interviews were great. Being on the floor. I mean, just to be there and be on the floor and see all those lights and see that larger than life stuff going on and then be like, oh yeah, you go around this secret passageway tunnel and you go through and you go on to talk. You're one of the few people that's going to be standing here talking with everybody. And when I was a kid, my dream was to be on ESPN, was to be on SportsCenter. And those of you that know, I started my professional career when I graduated from college. I started on ESPN radio in 3 different states, in Scranton, PA, Syracuse, New York, my hometown, and in Orlando, Florida. So I've been on ESPN. And then I did ESPN Dream Job down at ESPN the weekend, and I won that in front of Al Jaffe and 2 NFL players at the time, Vernon Davis, who was a tight end for San Fran at the time, and Charles Tillman, who was a cornerback for the Bears at the time. And so, I mean, I've already worked at ESPN, but my dream as a kid was to work for ESPN forever. And I worked at 3 different ESPN affiliates. I did the Dream Job thing at ESPN the weekend, and kind of impromptu, and that kind of it was. And I had a ton of fun and loved the experience. And it's just interesting that, now working for myself, not working for ESPN, not working for Fox or any of these places, working for myself got me on that floor. And getting on that floor, I'm standing next to Kirk Herbstreit, and you're standing on the same floor as Molly McGrath and all these people. So that in and of itself, saying I was a kid and I wanted to work for ESPN, and then I worked at ESPN affiliates, and I did the Dream Job that day down at Hollywood Studios at Disney. And so to say this is what I want to do, and then to say I got to work with ESPN, and then to say I didn't have to work for any of the 3 and 4 letter networks to bring my 4-letter network to life, DTBM for Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, and be on the floor of one of the greatest events and biggest things that anybody in the world can go to with my own name and my own website and owning my own business. So that was surreal. It's still surreal. It's not hitting me that I was on that floor representing Dan Tortora Broadcast Media and representing wakeupcalldt.com. I just keep looking up thinking, oh my God, thank you that you let me do it. And thanks to the college football playoff. So everything was awesome. Getting on the field, I was on the field at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. I was on the field at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I was on the field for the national championship game, pre and post game. And you could go back and watch all those videos and really see all my coverage by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Make sure you click subscribe and you hit the notification bell. You can also go to Facebook at wakeupcalldt, X at calldt, and Instagram at wakeupcall_dt, where all those videos are as well. And you can really see and chronicle my journey with me. So it was such an experience, and the national championship every day, just waking up and being like, you're here for the national championship, you big old kid, like you done did it. And and all the credit goes to God, and it goes to God being good to me, believing in me, getting me out of holes that I dug myself into. And we all go through stuff, and I've been in the dark hole, I've been down, I've been negative, I've let the world get to me, and God pulled me through all those holes, and it got me to where I am today. So I got to thank God first, because God is the reason for every season in my life. And I love him deep, and to have God and to believe in starting my own business at 26 years old and to now be 39, this is absolutely remarkable. You know, we're 12 years of business. We're in year 13. I'm 21 years a broadcaster. I'm in 22, my 22nd year. I can't be more grateful, but I'll find a way to be. I'm sure I can be. And, you know, I mean, seeing the confetti, being on the field felt different, by the way. I'm sure it was the same in the Peach Bowl, but it felt different in the championship. It felt more cushiony. It felt deeper. And it, you know, it's beyond everything. I mean, you see it on television and you see the pageantry and you're just like, wow, this is just crazy. But when you're there and you're the one taking the videos and you're the one taking the pictures and you're the one broadcasting and you're the one standing on the field and you're the one looking around at this entire stadium. I mean, I was in that stadium for practice when there was nobody there. I was in that stadium like 3 hours early where there were some people there. And I was in that stadium when it was insanely rocking and I didn't see an empty seat in the house. So you know, all I can say about the college football playoff journey is I love the 12-team playoff because I got to be a part of 4 rounds. And if they're going to do anything, if they want to go to 14 or 16, that's fine, I would say. But I think 12 can work. I think they got to tweak a few things. I think you heard them talk about that prior to the game, the championship game. But, I mean, Ohio State, they were the best team. Shout out to them. I underestimated them, and they proved me wrong, and I respect it. And, you know, Notre Dame proved me wrong too. I underestimated Notre Dame as well. So, you know, both of the teams that made it there definitely earned the right to be there. They did amazing jobs en route to get to where they are. And like I said, from the media hospitality and the food and the interactive stuff that we got to do and the things and the activities that they gave us to the events that we got to be a part of, to the media days, to the after parties, you know, college football playoff and the bowl games within it did a wonderful job. And I want to shout them out. I really do. I'm blessed to have crossed paths with Gary Stokan many years ago and now get to cover the Peach Bowl. I'm blessed to have crossed paths with Scotty Rogers many years ago and now get to cover the Cotton Bowl. I'm blessed to be a part of the college football playoff and now get to cover the national championship and all the way through. So, I mean, this is a dream come true for a man living a kid's dreams, and really I'm just a big kid. So don't let the adult body fool you. I'm definitely a big kid. And yeah, I mean, was it a lot of travel? Yeah. Did I get under the weather? Did I have some lady hacking up a lung next to me with no mask on a plane? Yeah. But would I do it all over again in a heartbeat? Would I get on a plane tomorrow? Absolutely. If there was another round. So I hope I get to do it again. I hope I get to enjoy the college football playoff another time. And I'm grateful for the time that I got to have to cover it. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're talking about the college football playoff as I am coming off of the experience of being through every round from the first round to the quarterfinal to the semifinal to the national championship game, and me being down in Atlanta by the wonderful blessing of God, and thanks to the college football playoff and everybody involved. We'll talk more right after this on Wake Up Call. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're gonna be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever gonna have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you. Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Go and see them Monday through Saturday. Say DT sent me when you walk in there, and they will take care of you. Great place at Great Lakes Honda City. And, of course, with new and used vehicles of all different shapes and sizes, they have some fantastic vehicles. You could find out more about their inventory by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. That's GreatLakesHondaCity.com. You could see different things that come up, specials that they have, and whatnot. So definitely go check them out here today. They got the Honda HR-V, the CR-V, the Prologue. They have the Accord, and so much more. I'm looking through some stuff right here now. They have the Civic. Of course, they have and a bunch of different things. They have from hybrids to the Prologue, which gives you that opportunity to go electric, and then like I said, all different shapes and sizes from the Pilot and the HR-V, the CR-V, the Accord, the Civic, the Odyssey. A lot of great stuff, and of course, my dad loves the Ridge line. So make sure you go and check out GreatLakesHondaCity.com, and then go over to Great Lakes Honda City today and Monday through Saturday weekly on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. So let's get into the game. The game was incredible. And for those of you waiting for my game story saying, Dan, where's that game story at? You always have a game story out like right when the game ends, boom, it is. It's right there. Well, I'm taking some time with this one because this one is a game story and also a story that goes beyond that. So be patient because this one, not that everything else isn't extremely wonderful and everything that I've done, I'm taking some time with this one. And you'll know why when I release it. So a lot of good stuff, and the game was great. Listen, Notre Dame came out on that first drive. Riley Leonard carrying the ball. They had 6 first downs on their first drive of the game. Absolutely bananas. And it looked like, and my mom said it looked like they couldn't be stopped. And then they turn around and give up a score, and you're like, okay, they gave up a score. The game's tied. And then they get nothing going on the second drive, for speaking of Notre Dame. And then on the second drive for Ohio State, they had 5 first downs. So think about that. In the first 2 drives for these two teams, both teams in their first 2 drives had a drive of at least 5 first downs. First drive for Notre Dame, 6 first downs on that drive. Second drive for Ohio State, 5 first downs. Ohio State takes the lead 14-7. Then they go up 21-7. Then they go up 28-7. You're sitting here thinking, like, how is this game going to get any closer? Or what's going to happen here? And then we see it get to 31-15 eventually. And so now it's a 16-point game. And then we see a score by Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard and Jaden Greathouse had a great game, taking it to the house. Came on late, came on in the second half, did what he needed to do to help move this team forward and into the end zone multiple times. And then, of course, they have the 2-point conversion go through. That 2-point conversion makes the score 31-23, and all of a sudden we got a 1-possession game with under 5 minutes to play. And it looks like, okay, Ohio State's going to try and run the clock down. They're going to try and run the ball. And then they go for the pass. And the pass in single coverage out to Jeremiah Smith, the guy that you hear about so much when it comes to hearing about Ohio State. Their wide receiver comes through in a big way. Will Howard puts the ball on the money. His receiver gathers that ball in. 2 incredible players make an incredible play on a 56-yard pass play that brings them to the 10-yard line of Notre Dame, and it ends the game. It silences that game there fully on that drive with that pass that kept the drive alive. So ultimately, after that, we see the victory overall for the Ohio State Buckeyes, 34-23, as they kicked a field goal on that drive, and Notre Dame ran out of time. So, the game was definitely a game later on, and I'm happy that it made itself a game with a few minutes to go. I feel like people were like, okay, this game is over. It's been commanded by one side. Ohio State, ever since the first possession by Notre Dame in the game. It's been all Ohio State, so we know Ohio State's going to win. So we could go home knowing that this game is over. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, hold up. For those of you that walked outside, maybe you want to come back into the arena if they'll let you back in, because guess what? It's a game, 31-23. And then we sat in silence in the media and we were watching it in the auxiliary area and just waiting to get onto the field. And then Ohio State made that huge play. I love seeing Ryan Day during the game get excited. You know, you look at coaches and it's like, you know, second quarter of a game or it's second half, but it's early and a coach is just sitting there stern with their hand on their face and looking around. And this Ryan was celebrating. And I talked to him about that. I said, you know, what was it like to have that celebration, you know, with the team and to just be out there with, you know, celebrating during the entire game, being celebratory with your team, showing that emotion and just what it's been like to be around these group of guys this season. And he answered that. And of course, he also said earlier on in the post-game press conference of the national championship, he said Ohio State isn't for everybody, but it's for these guys. And he pointed to Will Howard and Cody Simon. So I asked Cody and Will, if Ohio State isn't for everybody, why was it for them? So you could see their response and Coach Day's response to being celebratory through the game by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can go to our college football playoff playlist, which has over 60 videos of me covering the college football playoff. And so definitely make sure you check that out. And of course, you can also go to facebook.com/wakeupcalldt to watch the video as well of the post-game press conference. But yeah, so I mean, seeing Ryan Day celebrate, that was a lot of fun. Seeing Notre Dame get back into it was great. Seeing my buddy Riley Leonard cross into the end zone and wear my grandfather, my Papa Cavino's favorite number of 13, that was really cool as well. And just ultimately seeing a good game. You know, did it get out of hand for a certain amount of time? Yeah. And then did Notre Dame fight back? Yes. Was Notre Dame in it with under 5 minutes to play? Yeah. And you can't say this game was a blowout when a team was in it by one possession with a few minutes to play. So it was a good game. It was a thrilling game. There was more Ohio State there than Notre Dame. There was a lot more red in the sea than there was green parting it. And so there's a lot to be said about that. But Notre Dame's time could be coming because we know the Red Sea's been parted before. And I love the fact, like more than anything else, and I've said it a million times, but I'll say it again. I said it on the sideline on the field before the game. It is a great thing to see that God is being honored and promoted and spoken about by people who have a platform reaching millions and millions and millions. But you don't need a platform of millions and millions and millions to reach people. If you know but one person and you talk about God, you can change a life. So I pray that people do that. And the fact that it was on Inauguration Day, congratulations to President-elect and now the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So congratulations to you, Mr. President. And I hope that you live up to your promises of helping this country and helping this world. And more than anything, living for God, under God, and knowing that God is your ruler and all of our rulers and the only true king and the one above all. And so congratulations on being elected president, and God bless to the work that you've done. And thank you for some of the things you've already started to do. And then honoring Martin Luther King Jr. on the national championship day as well, for that being MLK Day, that being a wonderful moment, obviously, to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. His untimely death was unfortunate. The words that he gave are incredible. And if he gave one quote, it would have been enough. But he gave so many that I like. And the one that I like more than anything is that darkness cannot get rid of darkness. Light cannot. Only light can do that. Hate cannot destroy hate. Only love can do that. I absolutely love that quote. There's so many that I love and I appreciate and try to live by every single day moving forward. I will. So those words from Martin Luther King Jr. aren't just words. They're mantras. And their ways to live life, a lot of those. And so I want to thank Martin Luther King Jr. I say all the time that people shouldn't be judged by the color of their skin or anything else except for the content of their character. So, and that's how I look at people. I look at the content of your character. So to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., to celebrate the inauguration of President Donald Trump and to celebrate the college football playoff all in one day. Beautiful. To hear God at the inauguration, to hear, which I think that was lacking in this country for the last few years here. We didn't hear God as much. So to hear about God at the inauguration meant a lot to me. To know that Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about God means a lot to me. And to be at a college football playoff national championship game with athletes and coaches talking about God meant a lot to me. So it was all about God. And that's the only way to live life, in my opinion. You want to be successful in life, truly successful, then learn to know God, get to know God, honor God, celebrate God. And no matter what blessings he gives you, don't sit there and say, I'm awesome. Say he's awesome. Because the blessings for you come from somewhere. Yes, hard work, dedication, determination. I'm not saying you're not a part of it. I'm not saying you have nothing to do with it. I'm saying that God has had a place in every success in my life, whether somebody considers it major or minor. Every bit of success in my life has come from one place. It's come from God. If it was meant for me, it happened. If it was not meant for me, it didn't. And sometimes I didn't understand why. But to be treated the way that I was treated, and then to show up at the College Football Playoff National Championship, I can say, God, for every door you didn't let me open, thank you. To everybody that shunned me, thank you. Because I never stopped fighting because of you and because of my belief in you and in myself. And to be standing where I got to stand just a couple days ago says a lot to me about what I will do, what I can do, and how I'm just getting started. Because God does take care of those that love him, those that believe in him, those that work hard, those that are dedicated, those that try, and those that care. We all go through stuff, but God is awesome, and God is incredible, and God is loving, and God is caring, and I cannot thank God enough for his support and his goodness and his grace and his continuous faith toward me and goodness toward me when I have failed him more times than I can ever count. With that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and we'll wrap up the show right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card shop and collecting card shop as well. Trading cards and sports cards all have found a home at GG Cards and Breaks. Be it singles, graded cards, packs, boxes, it's all over there at GG Cards and Breaks. You never know what they're going to have. That's why you got to go in today, and then you got to go back tomorrow to GG Cards and Breaks to see all the awesome things that they carry. And I can say that as a card collector, I've collected Marvel cards. I have collected all different types of things from basketball to football to baseball in my life, Disney Lorcana, the Marvel verses, the DC verses. So I can honestly tell you that GG Cards and Breaks, it's home. To me, it's a place that I go to, not just to shop and find something cool, but to be around good people, to be around hardworking people, dedicated people that care about the craft, care about learning, care about growing, and fostering a positive atmosphere where we can all be big kids. So GG Cards and Breaks to me is more than just a store. It's a community. It's a way of experiencing life, and it's a way to keep that kid spirit alive in you and to share that with others. There's a positivity there. There's a fun there, and there's an excitement there. I don't think Josh and Anthony and the team give themselves enough credit, and I'm happy that they allow me the opportunity to promote them so that I can give them the credit that they deserve. GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Head there Tuesdays through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for tuning into the broadcast. On the road and at home for the last month plus, we've been on the road and we've been home. But we are very happy that whether we're on the road or we're home, we're coming to you from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I want to thank my incredible guests today, my double dose of the Dolphin Dive. Many thanks to Robby Carmody, who joined me from LeMoyne men's basketball after helping the team win the game with scoring the final points necessary to get the victory, doing what he needed to do at the charity stripe to win by a point, 73-72 over the weekend. And, of course, for Megan Bodziony for what she did in her inside presence play to win the game for the women's basketball team at LeMoyne. And, of course, a shout-out to everyone that was a part of those victories. It is not an individual. It is the sum of all parts. So a big-time shout-out to Robby Carmody, as well as to Megan Bodziony and to LeMoyne men's and women's basketball for their victories over the weekend. And for the men winning 2 out of the last 3 games, and for the women winning their last 2 in a row. I look forward to seeing them back at home at Ted Grant Court very soon. And many thanks, and I cannot thank them enough, to the College Football Playoff, to the committee, to the workers, to the sites, to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, to Gary Stokin and Matt Garvey and the entire team there, to Scotty Rogers and the entire team at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, to literally everyone that's worked on the grounds, everyone that's driven the media shuttles, that's cleaned up the trash, everyone in the city, the people I got to meet at the places where I bought food, to everything that I've done, to the hotels that housed us and the media hospitality that we had. Thank you to every single person that helped to make this one of the most greatest experiences of my life, going to the College Football Playoff first round, quarterfinal, semifinal, and championship game in this historic season of the 12-team College Football Playoff, first ever time for the 12-team. I cannot be more thankful for being at the College Football Playoff National Championship and all the way through to every single round. But like I said, I'll find a way to be. Thank you to the College Football Playoff and to everybody involved for welcoming me there, and to the tireless efforts of so many wonderful people, including getting to see a bunch of my friends on the road that work for different conferences and bowl games. I love seeing you there, and I'm not surprised, because when you want to put on a quality event that's second to none, you have to find quality people that are second to none. So Amy Acola, Scotty Rogers, Chuck Sullivan, and the list goes on. Gary Stokin, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the work that you do. Matt Garvey and everybody. So God bless to you all. Much appreciation. And, of course, thank you to everybody watching and listening Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, all around the country and the world. And, of course, on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, among others. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And many thanks to Brooklyn Pickle down in North Carolina on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Go and visit them when you're at Pinehurst Golf Course, because it's only about, 9 minutes down the road. And definitely go visit them if you're living in the area. And many thanks to all of our partners in Central and Upstate New York. Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, where today you can get a buy one, get one DT Dolphin. My Sunday is available 7 days a week, but on Wednesdays it's buy one, get one only at Carvel DeWitt. So go and see them today. Don't let the cold weather fool you. The Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world, Servomation, reimagining, reinvigorating, and creating such an entirely incredible atmosphere to vending. I never knew vending could have this high of a quality, this big of a kitchen, this many opportunities at different things you can get, and the technology is absolutely insane. Find out more at servomation.com. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, where you can get my sandwich 7 days a week. That is the Cuse Mac Mother, and you can go and get it today on 3709 James Street, exclusively at Mother's Cupboard. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month with the Dolphins in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. You will find your Dolphins right here during Dolphin Time every Wednesday, like today, with the Dolphins joining me, student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni all here on Wake Up Call. Find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our playlist for the LeMoyne Dolphins on our YouTube channel. You can also find the Dolphins by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration. And of course, we just featured yesterday our exclusive sit-down with the men's basketball team off to their best start in program history. You could see that special by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist that featuring Dallas Carrington, David Honoré, and head coach Clay Gagan-Sherman of the Bobcats men's basketball team in this edition of the Bobcat Buzz. Such an awesome conversation, very heartwarming and faith-filled, friendship-filled, and team-building. Don't miss a second of it. There's a special air around the team this year, and I want you to enjoy it with me. Go check out that Bobcat Buzz and all of them on our YouTube channel on the BSC Syracuse playlist on the YouTube channel. And, of course, you can find the Bobcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday during Bearcat time, like you did yesterday, hanging out with your Bearcats, having some fun with the Bearcats here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we had the opportunity of featuring yet another incredible story with the wonderful Bearcats of Binghamton University. I cannot thank them enough, and that was with their men's track team and thrower on the track team, Brian Luciano. So make sure you go back and check that out on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit that notification bell. And, of course, you could find our Binghamton playlist there as well on our YouTube channel. You can also find the Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, thanks to Robby and Megan once again. Thank you to the College Football Playoff. Thank you to everybody that gave me an opportunity to be there and believed that I could be there. So thank you for that. God bless for getting me there safe and sound by plane and by car. And thank you to all of the wonderful people that I met along the way and all of our people that are bringing good products and services to the world. God bless you. Thank you. And I appreciate it. For now, from Wake Up Call, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. As always, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, God bless, no stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.